It was a cold and snowy day as the final race of the 2025 ISMF World Cup season took place in Tromsø in Northern Norway, 350 kilometres north of the Arctic Circle. With a total of 114 athletes representing 21 nations ready to take on 1,381 metres of vertical over 9.6 kilometres, the scene was set for the fourth individual race of the winter. Women lined up to race at 12:10 and it was very quickly Axelle Gachet-Molleret of France who broke away and took the lead, with her compatriot Emily Harrop trying to keep pace. At the top of the first climb of 267 metres, Gachet-Molleret had a 12-second lead over Harrop, and behind them, another 30 seconds later, came the duo of Johanna Himmer of Austria and Alba Di Silvestro of Italy. A tightly bunched group of Alessandra Schmidt of Switzerland, the Spaniard Ana Alonso Rodriguez and Célia Perrier-Pesset of France came in behind them. After a short ski down, mostly straight lining through the fresh powder, they took off upwards for the longest climb of the day, 700 metres of vertical on both skins and foot. At the top of this climb, Gachet-Molleret had a 1 minute 7 second lead over Harrop, and the gap to third was also growing, now with Alonso Rodriguez leading Di Silvestro, Himmer and a very impressive Margot Ravenel of France, who had moved up from 12th to 6th in the intervening 30 minutes. Another shortish ski down, and at the penultimate climb of the day, Gachet-Molleret was looking comfortably ahead with Harrop in clear second. The battle for third was intense, and by the time they reached the final summit, it was Alonso Rodriguez who had pulled ahead of the small pack. On the longest and most powder-filled ski down of the day, Di Silvestro overtook Alonso Rodriguez, who took a couple of almighty tumbles, losing a pole, her glasses and ultimately third place. Axelle Gachet-Molleret took the last small uphill of 50 vertical metres with ease and crossed the line to win the fourth out of 4 individual races this season and claimed the Crystal Globe in the discipline. Emily Harrop was second, more than securing her enormous victory in the overall rankings for 2025, and Alba Di Silvestro was third for the second time this season. The top 3 in the final race also take the top 3 spots in the individual rankings for the season.
Yeah, it was not so easy condition today because of the wind, flow and low visibility, but it was SkiMo. Sometimes we have sun, sometimes no, and it's a good training for Metalama, I think.
As the weather deteriorated, 74 men took to the start line, minus the world number 1 and overall rankings winner Thibaut Anselmet of France, who was suffering from a cold. It seemed that the anticipated order of things was disrupted by a very fast start from the French athletes Basile Ducouré and Jérémy Anselmet, but in fact they just wanted a selfie leading Rémi Bonnet and the rest of the field, and they soon settled into the rest of the pack. The season-long dominant force of Bonnet of Switzerland was soon in evidence as he took off in his usual lone rider style, and at the top of the first climb he was a good 21 seconds ahead of his nearest rivals, Paul Verbniak of Austria, Davide Magnini of Italy and the French athlete Anselme Damavin. A good deal of straight lining and speedy transitions later, the longest climb was underway. In an almost exact replica of the women's race, at the top of the second summit, the men soon had the favourite Bonnet in the lead, with a 30-second gap to second place by now occupied by Magnini, with a dramatic contest for third place unfolding behind them. By now, Maximilien Dréon du Chapois of Belgium was the third-placed athlete, with Xavier Gachet and Anselme Damavin of France behind him. However, by the time they reached the final summit, with Bonnet 1 minute and 9 seconds ahead of Magnini, it was Damavin in third, followed by Matteo Idolin of Italy, and Verbniak was back in contention. The highly experienced Italian took a faster route down the long descent, and as they approached the end of the final 50-metre climb, Rémi Bonnet took first place, completing the perfect season with 4 individual wins out of 4, following his 4 from 4 in the vertical and the double world championship. Davide Magnini gained back nearly 40 seconds in the final descent and climb, finishing second, and back from a serious accident last season, Matteo Idolin took his second World Cup third place of the winter.
Yeah, I think it's one of the first time that a guy win all the races in the World Cup circuit, like in individual and vertical, so I'm really proud. It was the goal of the season. Last year I missed one World Cup. So I am really happy about these results, and yeah, for me I think it's my best season so far, and yeah, I hope the same for next year. Maybe I will try again, but I don't know if the motivation will still be the same.
Rémi Bonnet wins the individual title with Paul Verbniak second and Xavier Gachet third.